Jody Holland here with the Psyche of Success vlog. Glad to have you guys back on the channel. We're going to be talking a little bit today about how you read anyone in 10 seconds or less. About a decade ago, I was exposed to a science called physiognomy. The simple way to pronounce that is face reading. It's a way that you can look at a person and see the structure of their face and correlate that to the psychology of who they are. I was fascinated the first time that I saw this. I started going, man, think of the applications. Think of the way that you could connect with people deeper or more quickly, how you could help people come to a buying decision much faster. In one of my books, Hypnotic Selling, I described the face reading process and then correlated over to how you understand what they really want to buy. I don't want to sell people anything. I want them to buy the thing that they want. That way we have no buyer's remorse, everybody's happy in the end, and they get to move forward and go, Jody Holland's the greatest salesman ever. I love everything I've bought from him and I can't wait to buy again. That's what we're trying to get to. Face reading offers us that opportunity to connect at that deep level and to understand who a person is. So we start with the shape of the forehead, and I'm going to kind of go down the face and give you a quick description. When you look at a person's forehead from a profile, just like that, it'll either be flat across the front or like mine, it'll be rounded. A rounded forehead says that we make our decisions rooted in emotion, not logic. So I'm an emotional creature. I motivate myself through emotion. I'm very passionate about what I'm doing. That's reflected right here. A flat forehead, think about a CPA or an engineer that you know. That's what their forehead looks like. It's going to be flat across right here. Those people make their decisions rooted in logic. So think about that connection or that appeal that you're going to have to that person. If it's a logical person, you're not going to use that, don't you think people will love you, kind of an appeal. You're going to use more of the 4 out of 5 dentists recommend. That's how you connect with them. You can change up your advertising, you can change up all of your messaging to fit your target audience. I have created profiles for a number of companies now where we look at the people who buy the most from them and we've looked at their facial features and I create a facial profile. It is a cool thing to do and it's a service that I started offering about a year ago where I help people figure out how do you target your message to the face that's going to buy. Next thing that we look at is the eyebrows. Right here you may or may not have a ridge, kind of a bump that runs out like that. If the person has a ridge, that's the system's ridge. They're going to take chaos and always reduce it into order and systemize what they're doing. They want everything to be predictable. So if you're trying to appeal to a person who's a systems thinker, you can't be chaotic and disorganized. You've got to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row and you say, look, you look like a systems kind of thinker. I want to make sure that you understand the 4 steps in this process. If they're combined logical and systems, you really need to be organized. If they don't have a ridge, it doesn't mean anything. It just means they're not a systems thinker. Then you look at the eyebrows themselves, the actual hair of the eyebrow. They'll either be rounded, flat, or like a rooftop, kind of an arch. The rounded eyebrows, when you're engaging with that person, they start with relationship before task. The flat eyebrows, they start with task before relationship. When you're trying to connect with that person, if they're rounded, spend more time on rapport. If they're flat, don't spend a lot of time on rapport, get down to business. That's what they care about first. If it's an arch in the eyebrow, that means that they have a strong need for people to be under control. In other words, they don't want things to feel out of their control. Not that they want to control you necessarily, but they don't want anything out of control. Interestingly, left side of your face relates to your personal life, right side of your face relates to your professional life. The arch on the left says, I need control at home. The right, I need control at work. If you're trying to persuade a person who has an arc in their eyebrow, you have to give them options and let them make their own choice. You can't tell them what to do. Then you look, how far does that tuck under the brow ridge? So if the hair, particularly right here, tucks under that ridge, those are the individuals that kind of have a small filter between their brain and their mouth. They're the ones that are going to say exactly what they're thinking, even if they shouldn't. So I like those people. They're my favorite people in the world because I always know where I stand with them and I never have to guess. You've got to be careful about that. If you are the eyebrow tucking under kind of person, watch your mouth. Learn to control your tongue. Not everybody appreciates your direct honesty. particularly when you add the word brutal in there. We then look at the nose. You're looking for a couple of things on the nose. Some people have a bump, like I have right here. If you run your finger down your nose, it kind of pops out like that. That bump indicates one of two things. It primarily indicates that you'll have some level of defensiveness in your personality based on an experience that you had in your life. So for me, the experience that relates to my defensiveness is from 2nd grade. The higher up the nose sits, the younger you were when you became defensive, 2nd grade being the youngest you can tell. The lower down the nose, the more recently, up to within the last 4 years. It could also mean, second option, somebody broke their nose. Most of the time though, even if you get your nose broken, it heals okay and you don't end up with a large bump if you don't have some defensiveness as well. You then look at the septum, that center point in the nose. When that comes down, that means the person is mission driven. They'll ask why a lot more than other people will. They want to know, why are we doing this? Why is this important? How will we benefit? They're looking for the mission. They can't work just for money. They've got to work for a reason beyond that. Then we're going to go to the ears, right out here. The ears, in a study that I did about 3 years ago, indicate what the learning style or language pattern of a person is. You can be visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. The visual ears, smaller ears, larger iris in combination, they process by creating a connection to something they've done before. If you're trying to teach them something, you say, think about when you did this, it's going to be like that. Or get an image in your mind of, or can you visualize or picture this? You'll use wording like that in order to connect to their brain. The auditory people, larger ears, smaller iris, they process in logic, talking, thinking, and sequencing. So when you're interacting with them, you say, I want you to take time to think about this. Process this in your own way. Any questions you have, I want to talk about those questions. They need the logic, they need the communication in order to process. The kinesthetic people are the easiest ones to tell. Their ears look like they're folded back on the outside edge. When the ears look kind of like that, those individuals make their decisions with their gut or their instinct and with emotion. They like action. So you're going to use action words and doing stuff. I know you're going to feel really good when you take action on X. That's the kind of language that you would use with them. Their gut is scarily accurate. They need to learn to listen to their gut because for some reason they're in tune with what's going on around them. And when they go, this doesn't feel right, listen, because they're probably going to be right about it not feeling right. So step back from needing to be right and listen to these kinesthetic folks. A lot of times they struggled in school, they were good in sports, but our public education system is not designed for kinesthetic people. It's designed primarily for auditory people, secondarily for visual people, almost none of it for the kinesthetics. Kinesthetics learn by doing, not by watching, not by listening. They need to do it themselves. When you're training people, show them what you want them to do, describe what it was that you did, have them demonstrate while you coach. You've covered all your bases that way. The final component I want to talk about is right here on the chin. The chin is either square, think John Cena, squarest chin I think I've ever seen, where it comes down, goes flat across like that. These are people that judge themselves by their goals and accomplishments. They don't judge themselves based on what you think of them, they judge themselves based on what they get done. Round chin, these people judge themselves based on whether or not people like them or relationships. They do care what you think about them, but it's not about the goals and accomplishments, it's about pleasing you. And then pointed chin. Disney figured this out years ago. Take an angular cheekbone, come down to a V, those people scare us. They scare us because every evil villain in the movies has that same basic chin structure. What it actually means is they judge themselves based only on what they think of themselves. They're self-centered. So it makes it very tough to connect with that person because it is truly just about them. They're tuned into their own favorite radio station, WII-FM, what's in it for me? And that's all they're thinking about at the time. So as you look at a person, you get a sense for who they are, a sense for the way that they process the world, and it's really important to be able to step back from that and go, why do I feel that way? The science of face reading or physiognomy is a way to codify what the face means and help you understand and connect much quicker. I'm Jody Holland with the Psyche of Success vlog. If you haven't subscribed yet, why not? Go out there and subscribe right now and share it with your friends. Make sure that you also follow me on Facebook. I do a lot of episodes of Fun with Faces where I just go pick on people that I've never met before, read their face, and describe what their world is actually like. It's kind of fun to do. If you haven't followed me there or liked my Facebook page, it's Jody Holland Training and Speaking. Also follow me on Twitter, Jody and Holland. Can't wait to see you on the next episode. We'll see you soon.